Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Good Boxing Podcast with your host, Josh Zayas. Let's jump right into this episode. Yesterday, we had the top ranked ESPN Plus boxing card in Kissimmee, Florida, which showcased some of the hottest prospects in boxing, right? I was really excited about a couple of fighters, and I'll start off with this one. Yesterday, I was really excited to see Xander Zayas come back into prominence and solidify himself as a even more hot of a prospect. I mean, I can't look at a better performance, in my opinion. Xander Zayas, with all the high praise and all of the attention seemingly on this young kid, came out and thoroughly thrashed his opponent in the first round. So, look, you get the first round knockout, you keep the steam going, and people are really excited about Xander. And I'm really excited about Xander. I think he's a really complete fighter. I think he's developing well at the Sweatbox boxing gym, and he looks like he has a bright future. I love the fact that he's part of one of the hottest divisions in the world at 147, and arguably, you know what? It is the hottest division. There's no division that's deeper. You can arguably say a couple of other divisions are hot, but Crawford, Spence, Pacquiao, the list goes on and on. 147 is truthfully the deepest and most beloved division in boxing right now, and I expect it to stay that way. Xander Zayas, welcome to the 147-pound division, and you did your thing by beating the person that you need to beat in front of you. You got rid of him. It's not your fault, and I look forward to seeing you back in action. I like his educated jab. I like his patience, and I like the way he's able to walk down on his opponents at such a tall stature. It's hard to walk someone down when you're really tall because you have the potential to run into something over the top. But I like his defense. I like his offense. And the kid seems to just be developing at a good pace. And I look forward to seeing him again, honestly. Next, I'm not going to sit here and say he's a prospect because at this point, Josue Vargas seems to just be getting bigger and bigger each time. Now, I got to sit here and say, I preface this by saying, look, I'm a trainer. I'm not going to sit here and say that, I know everything, or I'm not going to sit here and say that what I'm saying is right. I don't want you to think I'm a hater. But one thing I am noticing with Josue Vargas, kid has amazing talent. I really do think the kid is the goods. I think he has the skills. You see it. You see flashes of greatness. You see flashes of what could be. Right now, he's still in the development process, and you see it. Round one, look, the guy he fought, Willie, was tricky. He was awkward. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that, look, the guy isn't that good. He's tricky. He came out awkward, caught Josue Vargas early in the first round. He looked hurt. I I was a little worried. I thought maybe it was going to be over, but like a true gritty prospect, got out of it, saved himself. Then you saw him start to work, right? Now, Josue Vargas won the fight. I don't think it was really that close of a fight, but you're starting to see flashes of deficiencies. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the guy cannot box because you see he has really good boxing skills. However, the temperament needs to change. I feel like from time to time, being a part of the Edgar Berlanga show and being a part of like the Teofimo Lopez camp and being a part of this young and up and coming vigor, right? Really trying to be exciting, really trying to put on a show, the showmanship, the hair. I I think it's all good. I think his heart's in the right spot, but I feel like he needs to just chill out a little bit. He has the goods. He just needs to develop the temperament and be patient because when he was patient, truthfully, Willie Shaw looked like he didn't belong in the same ring as Josue Vargas. And at times, Josue Vargas looks like he belongs in the conversation with the Ramirez's of the world. Like he could potentially compete for a world title. Like he's really an elite talent. But then there's other times where he gets caught in exchanges, gets greedy, and decides to eat a little too much and look to beat Edgar Berlanga, where he's trying to knock someone out with one punch. And I think he needs to realize that he's just not that fighter. And that's okay. Even Andre Ward prefaced this and said, look, it's okay if you don't have the one punch knockout power. You are God gifted with the ability to box, to move. You're an athlete. you're smart in the ring, you have good ring IQ. There's really nothing wrong with that. And I think he needs to heed that advice. And I'm not going to sit here and talk trash about his trainer. I'm not going to sit here and talk trash about Coach Anthony. I'm not going to sit here and do any of that because at this point, you listen to the corner, they're telling him the right things. I just think he needs to buy into whatever they have planned for him. His dad, he trusts his dad. I don't want him to sit here and change his trainer because look, when you have a father son thing, it's kind of tricky. And I'm not going to sit here and try to break up a good thing because regardless of whatever I say or whatever other people say, they continue to win fights. And sometimes in the development process, you have to try and be whatever it is you want to be and then realize, like, hey, maybe I'm not that. And I hope he doesn't do that in a loss. And I wish the best for him. But I still don't think he's hit that pinnacle yet. But at the same time, look, he's a young fighter. He's a young, really young fighter. He still has time to develop. And I think if he takes his time, really starts to heed the advice of his dad, and trust in his boxing ability and realize that, look, it's okay not to knock people out in the first round, right? It's okay if you don't get the guy out in the second or third round. It's okay to hit somebody with 3, 4 punches, move around, dance around, do it again, and just make it as easy as possible for yourself. Prolong your career. You may not get the highlight knockouts you're looking for, but you're going to have a highlight career. And I think that's what he needs to kind of take in the approach to because you see it, the educated jab, the really, really sharp left counters, the ability to counter jabs with the right hook, the angles, the defense at times where, look, he looks smooth, he looks untouchable. And then we get the moments where he's in exchanges, gets hit with a wild shot because he's trying to knock the guy's head off, thinking that he's Edgar Berlanga. And it's okay if you're not. Not everyone can hit with one punch power. Sweet Pea Whitaker had no pop, and you saw how long his career lasted, and you see how highly esteemed he is in boxing history. And I think you have more power than Sweet Pea, but I think you get a little carried up and caught up in the moment and you fight in a way where I love it because it's cool, but I think you're going to end up shortening your career or potentially taking an L that you don't have to take because you're trying to be a fighter that I'm not going to sit and say you're not because you certainly are gritty. You're about it. You are someone that exchanges. You want to go in, you want to go and fight it out. But I think for your potential, for you to hit that level of excellence you're looking for, change your temperament a little bit. Be a little more patient. Like they're giving you development fights, develop. It's okay. You don't have to knock everyone out. And that's my only gripe with him. I think he's a really, really highly touted prospect. I think he's just young. And look, when you're young, you're not going to listen to whoever you are. You're the one that's still undefeated. You only have one loss that was due to disqualification. So you think you got to figure it out. And again, I'm just a critic, whatever. I'm a trainer. I'm looking at it from um a critical point of view as I should, but I really do think he's a good prospect. I just think he fights the wrong way against the wrong guy. It could potentially get ugly for him. If you fight like that against Jose Ramirez, he's going to light you up. If you fight like that against someone that has a lot of power, they're going to light you up. And personally, I just want to see you succeed, and I hope it works out well for him. Then we go to the monster. I mean, this was the highlight. I'm sorry. I know Navarrete um, was the champion. He's the belt holder. He's the headliner. But we all know who we really tuned in for. Edgar, the monster Berlanga. He had the knockout streak going, and it looked like, hey, the next guy up, Demon Nicholson, was the next one in line to be a victim. And guess what? RIP to the first round knockout streak. And honestly, I am so relieved for the kid because when you have a reputation of knocking someone on the first round, all of a sudden you immediately become this monster and doesn't allow you to really develop. I was hearing talks about Canelo and this kid, and oh, we should put this guy in with Andrade, and like all these crazy, crazy things. And kid only has 16 fights, and he's only gone one round in each and every one of them. So, quite frankly, I was happy this fight went the full 8. He got a nice decision, dropped the guy 4 times en route to it. And look, I saw a lot of good things from Edgar. I like the fact that he lines up his shots immaculately. He doesn't telegraph his shots all the time, but you are seeing that he does put a lot of pop on the shots. But the fact that he was able to pick his shots, be patient, I wish he worked the body a little more, but Andre Rozier recognized that and he did his whole shtick where he does the push-ups for making a mistake, etc., etc. I don't know how I feel about that because truthfully, look, I'm not the one training him, but is he gonna do the push-ups if he loses? Like, I don't know. I would be pretty mad if I lose a fight and my trainer's like, "Oh, you made a mistake, you lost. Go do some push-ups." I don't know how I feel about that, but regardless, kid looked good. I'm glad he got the rounds in because again, when you fight the better guys, they don't just fold. I mean, this guy really was using angles. You saw him trying to survive. Yes, knocking someone out who's in survival mode is extremely hard, but I think he ran into the power, didn't realize how hard it was, and he paid the price for it. But he made it 8 rounds. Edgar got his rounds in. He's able to develop, take his time, and he could still continue to do whatever he has to do. However, the main event. Now, Navarrete versus Diaz. I know a lot of people were telling me this was a very competitive fight. It was exciting. Truthfully, a lot of action happened. I'm really, really happy that Diaz was able to survive most of the fight until the 12th round. But I got to sit here and say to you, this was a beatdown. Navarrete looked great in the fight. Diaz showed some heart. And yes, I know he made it. And it was a great back and forth from time to time. But Navarrete really, really, really is showing that he is class of his division. I don't know if he can mess with the 130-pound division or the top of the division in the Gary Russells of the world, the Leo Santa Cruzes of the world. I think he's biting off a little more than he could chew, in my opinion. But you know what? Honestly, this is the year where people think they got it. Let them go for it. So this is pretty much the episode for today. If you liked it, feel free to like the video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. It really helps the channel. And I'm really, really happy to be releasing these videos on a daily basis. And honestly, if you're listening via Spotify or Apple, thank you so much for streaming. Feel free to hit that subscribe button and that bell button as well. Leave a review. And if you're not following on Instagram, follow at Good Boxing Podcast. Let me know your thoughts about the fights. Truthfully, I was very happy with them. Um, they were what they were, and we saw a lot about these prospects. Thank you so much and have a good day.